Can a car company get a do-over? Can they launch a vehicle, watch it fall flat on its face with critics and buyers, and then, just a couple of years later, ask everyone to forget the past and welcome its new and improved successor? That is, the multi-billion-dollar question. Lexus is posing with the 2026 RZ. The original was slammed for embarrassing range, and painfully slow charging. It was a great Lexus, but a terrible EV. Now, Lexus is back, asking for a second chance. The question is, have they earned it? Thank you for joining us on another deep dive. And if this is your first time here, a massive welcome to Auto Insights. We're thrilled to have you. The 2026 Lexus RZ story is one of redemption. The first version was, to put it mildly, a disappointment. It tripped over its own shoelaces right out of the gate. Its range was low, and real-world results were even worse. The charging speed was a joke compared to the competition. It was an electric vehicle that seemed to forget the electric part was the most important. But for 2026, Lexus has gone back to the drawing board. They've given the RZ bigger batteries, more power, better tech, and even a new sporty F-Sport trim. They've made significant progress, addressing many of the loudest complaints, but in a world where Tesla sets the benchmark for tech and Hyundai is delivering award-winning, game-changing EVs, are these upgrades enough to catch up, or is Lexus still playing a game of follow the leader? We're going to break down every new feature, the driving experience, and the lingering pain points to answer that very question. Before we get into the details, do us a huge favor and hit that like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to Auto Insights so you don't miss out on our latest reviews and expert analysis. Now, let's dive in. So what's actually new for 2026? A lot, actually. Lexus has expanded the lineup to 3 trims. The base is now the RZ350e with a single front motor making a more respectable 221 horsepower. The all-wheel drive RZ450e sits in the middle, holding steady at 308 horsepower. The big news for both is a new, larger battery. Most models now get a unit with an estimated 68 kilowatt-hours of usable capacity. This finally pushes the range into acceptable territory. The base RZ350e now targets 300 miles, up from a weak 266. More importantly, the all-wheel drive RZ450e jumps from a paltry 220 miles to a much healthier 260 miles. Then there's the new kid on the block, the RZ550e F-Sport. This is the performance model, packing a dual-motor powertrain good for 402 horsepower. It gets a slightly larger 69 kilowatt-hours battery, but because it's the most powerful and heaviest, its range is the lowest of the bunch at just 225 miles. Ouch. Interestingly, the RZ550e F-Sport borrows a fascinating piece of tech first seen in the incredible Hyundai Ioniq 5N. Lexus calls it M-Mode, a system that simulates the feeling of shifting through 8 gears in a direct-drive EV, complete with paddles and even a surprising kick as you shift. It's a bit of a gimmick, but a fun one. On the road, these changes are immediately noticeable. The base 350e finally has suitable acceleration. It's smooth, quiet, and comfortable. Everything you expect from a Lexus. The 550e F-Sport is a genuine hustler. While 402 horsepower isn't earth-shattering in the EV world, it provides more than enough punch to be interesting, and the handling is sharpened without sacrificing that signature Lexus comfort. The cabin is a beautiful place to be screened, with high-quality materials and a great finish. But this is where the good news starts to get complicated. Despite the upgrades, some of the original RZ's biggest flaws remain. First, DC fast is still limited to a pathetic 150 kilowatts. In a world where a Hyundai Ioniq 5 can charge at over 230 kilowatts and Teslas easily surpass that, 150 kilowatts is simply not competitive. It means longer waits at charging stations. Other annoyances remain. There is still no true one-pedal driving mode, a feature beloved by many EV drivers. The fancy electrochromic roof still gets incredibly hot in direct sunlight because it lacks a proper physical shade. And Toyota's driver assistance systems are, frankly, infuriating. The car beeps at you for exceeding the speed limit by a single mile per hour and scolds you for doing safety checks like looking over your shoulder. And then there's the yoke. Lexus gave a preview of its upcoming steer-by-wire system, which removes the physical steering column and forces you to use a yoke instead of a wheel. The system constantly changes the steering ratio based on speed, which feels unnatural and requires you to completely rewire your brain, especially at low speeds. The yoke itself feels cheaper than the standard wheel, and the turn signal is mounted on the yoke, making it a nightmare to use in a roundabout. Frankly, it feels like Lexus is over-engineering a solution to a problem that never existed. So, where does that leave the 2026 Lexus RZ? It's an exercise in taking necessary, but small, steps forward. It finally feels like the vehicle it should have been at launch. But is it a Tesla or Hyundai killer? Not even close. The 2026 Lexus RZ represents a significant mid-cycle refresh. aimed squarely at correcting the critical failures of the original model. The first-generation RZ was widely viewed as a half-hearted entry into the competitive premium EV space, primarily let down by its insufficient battery range and uncompetitive charging speeds. This update is Lexus's attempt at a mulligan, seeking to make the RZ a viable contender against established leaders like Tesla and rapidly advancing competitors such as Hyundai and Genesis. The core of the upgrade lies in the powertrain and battery technology. The lineup now features 3 distinct trims: the front-wheel drive RZ 350e 221 horsepower, the all-wheel drive RZ 450e 308 horsepower, and the new performance-oriented RZ 550eF Sport 402 horsepower. Most trims receive a new battery with an estimated 68 kilowatt-hours of usable capacity, boosting range to more acceptable figures. The RZ 450e, for example, sees its estimate rise from a dismal 220 miles to a more practical 260 miles. The new F Sport model also introduces M Mode, a system that simulates gear shifts, a feature notably borrowed from the Hyundai Ioniq 5N. In terms of driving dynamics and interior quality, the 2026 RZ excels where Lexus traditionally does. The ride is exceptionally quiet and supple, delivering the comfort and refinement the brand is famous for. The interior fit and finish are superb, with high-quality materials and comfortable seating. The added power across the range makes the vehicle feel more responsive and suitable for its class. The RZ 550eF Sport, in particular, delivers an engaging driving experience without sacrificing overall comfort, successfully embodying the Lexus F Sport philosophy. Despite these welcome improvements, the RZ is still hampered by significant weaknesses that place it a step behind its rivals. The DC fast charging capability remains capped at a non-competitive 150 kilowatts, leading to longer charging times compared to competitors that can accept 250 kilowatts or more. Furthermore, the vehicle still lacks a true one-pedal driving mode, and the driver assistance systems are often criticized for being overly intrusive and annoying. The previewed steer-by-wire yoke system also feels like a flawed and unnecessary gimmick, raising questions about Lexus's engineering priorities. In conclusion, while the 2026 RZ is vastly improved and now a worthy luxury EV in its own right, it fails to leapfrog the competition in the areas that matter most to many EV buyers: core battery and charging technology.